Evolutionary.org presents the Underground Radio Podcast with your host, Rick Rock and Hardcore Steve. Prepare for the show in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Evolutionary Underground, episode number 10. This is Ricky V. Hope everybody's doing well out there. Hey, what's up, Steve? Say hi to the people, Steve.
Stevesmi checking in, guys. Another great podcast coming your way. What are we doing today, Rick?
Cutting cycles. We're going to cut 6-pack abs for cutting. And now, guys, like when we're kind of specific about the products we're specifically going to use, because we just talk about the hormones here on a daily basis pretty much. We're just always all about this steroid, that steroid. Sometimes we'll mention old school brands, but today we're going to talk about exactly what to use. I'm going to go ahead and get it started. So the first thing I would get on, which would be a really, really nice little cutting program to get those 6-pack abs. I would have to say GP Mast 100. It's Masteron 100 by 10 cc's from Geneza. And I'd probably stack that up with GP Primo 100. Primobolan and Masteron. It's a good combination. Neither are the cheapest of steroids. Primobolan is up there as one of the most expensive next to Anavar. Primobolan, is one of those things where with the smaller brands will screw you, especially if they're real greedy. They'll if they run out of Primobolan, they'll put something else in there and just rock it on down the line. And if you're not real experienced or you don't have a testing kit, you'll actually not get the results you're looking for. But you might not know enough. It might be negligible. Maybe you're falling off on your diet and other things. You think that's the problem. But at the end of the day, you want to be able to control as much as you can when it comes to these cycles you're spending money and time on to reshape your body. And, just starting off my cycle with, let's say, just grabbing a known brand that I know to be good. GP, Geneza Primo 100. It's a brand that's been around for such a long time. You start off with that, and then as always, obviously, run that test kit and know, because who knows, maybe you get a good deal through an outlet, and it turns out it wasn't the best deal. Best time is to go direct, but a lot of these larger brands have distribution all over the place. And like if you're in India, or if you're in South America, what I'm saying, you're in Colombia or Argentina listening to this, we got a lot of folks from all over the place as well. UK, Canada, everywhere. You might be better off locally, and you might have a local outfit. As long as they're approved and it's coming in direct from the source, you're most likely than not, you're going to be all right with that Primobolan. But I mean, look, I've seen fake sharing Primobolan out there before. It does happen. And if you don't know what you're doing, you'll waste your money down the drain there too. And that's just one of those brands that's a worldwide known brand, decades old, Primobolan, and it still gets faked. So if you're gonna get underground Primobolan, which is most guys listening to this are doing underground Primobolan. Let's be realistic here. Just starting off with a really good brand would really, you start off on the right foot. And let's take this step by step. For example, I could probably go with something local that is probably not as well known as a Geneza. I go something local, not as well known as Geneza, probably get it delivered quicker, probably be a lot cheaper. But then if I run it through my testing kit and it comes back that it's not the real shit, now I got this whole to-do to try to get my money back. Because at that point, I'm not shooting anything else. Oh no, primobolan, we made a mistake, but the other stuff is good. Nah, fuck that. Even if it comes back colored good on the test, don't mess with it anymore. At that point, you lost my faith. Because if it was legit Geneza shit straight out of the spot, it wouldn't and it shouldn't come back with a problem. So definitely start off with a good brand, start off with a good source. And same thing, like I said, you shop local. If you shop locally and as you shop locally, you get some local brand that's cheaper. The guy will meet you behind the gym at the park lot and hand it to you. And you get home and test it and it doesn't come back. Now, what are you going to do? Now you got an uphill climb to get your money back. If the guy wasn't trying to get you and he got by his up the line supplier, then he might just return your money, grab the stuff, apologize. If he doesn't know you well, or if he meant to screw you, now you got this uphill climb. So starting off with a good brand, especially in an item like primobolan that is just so hard to get human grade nowadays, especially, if in the country you're in, it's not available for prescription. I spent a lot of time in parts of South America. Some countries you can get testosterone, libido at the pharmacy, but primobolan, from sharing the real legit human grade stuff, won't be around. You won't be able to get it at any kind of pharmacy. And so the only way to get in some countries where you could just walk into the pharmacy, no prescription, a farmacia, no prescription, and get legit testosterone, they won't sell you primobolan. You'd have to, in that country, get underground primobolan, UG lab primobolan. So you're shopping with the top tier UG labs, the ones that have been around for a couple of decades, is a good start. Start off with that. And then make sure that the source you get it from, the supplier, is the real deal and not someone bootlegging. Right? The problem with the smaller brands, the bottom feeder brands, the ones that are like, the dude that started that brand is like his second, third brand after partnerships. Which, if you look at the trajectory of a lot of these smaller bottom feeder brand owners, they, by the time you're shopping from them, that's their third brand. Oh, the first partners. Oh, guy got shot. Okay, second partner. Oh, guy got on drugs. We started fighting. We got fake raws. Had to close shop. What's this now? Oh, this is third brand. My third brand, new stuff, new start. It's just me and a new guy that I know now. It won't turn out bad, right? So it always just it's already you underground. You stay with names that have good trajectory, and that's just the way to kind of go about it, I think. But yeah, those two, Masteron, primobolan. Obviously, I like test-based. Some guys out there already on TRT. I could use those two with just like my N2 Generate product, the N2 Generate ES, I should say, version product, and some other N2 stuff, N2 Guard and N2 Slant, and really kill it. I could do those two on a good caloric deficit, time restricted feeding, make some great progress, especially that primobolan. You can lean on that primobolan to keep muscle mass. And even if you train hard enough and you actually have enough lean protein in your diet, a lot of meatheads out there, we believe primobolan is that one steroid that guys from all over the place for years have attributed as the steroid that'll help you gain muscle mass, even on caloric deficits, even as you're cutting. So, you're using enough Primo and enough Masteron. And Masteron, to quote your buddy Nelson Montana there, Steve, it really gives you that aesthetic look. Nelson, to quote him, his opinion is that once you get off the Masteron, a lot of the gains, so to call it, might not be easily kept. But at least while you're on it, you look pretty incredible. It's up there as one of the better aesthetic changing and improving steroids anyone could mess with. So yeah, those two would be my first steroids I would use to get going for the summer. What about you, Steve? What do you talk? Give me like some of your opinions.
So next one we're going to talk about, if you want six-pack abs, has to be Trenbolone Acetate. And with Trenbolone, the Geneza Trenbolone 100 milligrams a milliliter, you can just go ahead and pin 100 milligrams every other day, and that will give you 350 milligrams a week. And here's the thing with Trenbolone. A lot of people out there, they just react incredibly well to Trenbolone in different ways. Some people react incredibly well when it comes to gaining strength. Some people react really well with gaining rapid weight and muscle and just putting on globs of mass in a short amount of time. And then the third batch of people that react really well to Tren, and it can be included in the first two examples, but also with the six-pack abs, just shredding down and getting six-pack abs, even with a poor diet, even eating a lot of bad food, they still seem to just shred on Trenbolone. And there's a couple of reasons for that. Trenbolone does things in the body that other steroids aren't capable of doing. It's extremely anabolic, 5 times more anabolic and 5 times more androgenic than straight testosterone on paper. Now, of course, those anabolic androgenic ratios don't really translate to real life in a lot of situations. But in this case, anyone who's used just testosterone and then used just Trenbolone can attest to that. Trenbolone is much more powerful than just straight testosterone. So whether, it's 2 times as androgenic and anabolic, or 5 times or 10 times, it's not really the point. The point is it does things in the body that no other steroid is going to do for you. And it really turns you into Superman when you're on it, both physically and mentally. So, and a lot of people, they don't react well to Tren. But there's a percentage of you out there, I would say maybe 33%. Let's just go with that nice round number. 1 out of 3 of you will take Trenbolone. And even if your diet is shit, you'll still rip up and get a 6-pack from using Tren. It's just an incredible steroid. And so that's one of the reasons why, I'm including Trenbolone in this underground episode, because you just have to, if we're talking about steroids to shred up, Trenbolone is the way to go, even on a bad diet. But obviously, those of you who know me know I never recommend eating a bad diet, but I'm just saying some of you are going to have that experience with Tren, and it's not your imagination. It's just the way Tren is structurally made. Look, it's one of the few steroids out there that was actually designed for bodybuilding. I mean, that's just the fact, and it's a must use. Ever since the 90s, when Trenbolone started getting used, really in the mid to late 80s, guys were getting a hold of the Primobolan. They were getting a hold of it in those days, mid to late 80s, really into the 90s, it started blowing up, and it's changed bodybuilding, and that's why. So it's a must use at some point in your life. It's a must use just to try it out. And you got to get the clean Trenbolone. You got to. A lot of Trenbolone out there is dirty. You inject it and right away you start coughing and you get red bumps and you get fever and you get infections from dirty Tren. So you really should use the high quality Geneza GP brand of Tren. And then the acetate, the reason I mention acetate is because it increases flexibility. it's in your system quicker, it's out of your system quicker. So you have that flexibility to start or stop it at your leisure. And after a week and a half, it's going to, the esters are going to move in the body versus taking a longer ester that's in your body for weeks. What else you got, Rick?
So I'm going to bring it back to basics. I'm going over cycles that I've actually done to cut down. And we've done podcasts here before where we discuss the merits of ester blends versus single ester compounds. The merits of using a Sustanon blend per se versus regular old, just a straight naphthate, straight cypionate. So I'm going to put an idea out there. Not everyone is looking to juice hardcore. Some guys are just, we have a lot of older, mature, professional dudes on the podcast, just looking for that edge, trying to get better than natural results, reverse the clock quite a bit without really going all in and risking their health. While still, although it's risky behavior anyway to mess with the endocrine system at any level, even with small amount, being realistic, guys, you obviously will run a higher chance of side effects and problems in the higher doses. And definitely using some of the synthetic stuff, the stuff that never existed in nature until man put it together in a lab. That could be. It's a risk we all take. And we're not the first one to take this risk when it comes to steroids. Guys have been using steroids for everything from performance to aesthetics to whatever since the 1950s. And we're still using the same steroids now since the 1950s. So with all of that, I'll tell you this. GP Sust 270. GP Sust 270. It's a great product. Great steroid. And I've always said, hey guys, save your money, use an athlete, shoot once a week, blah, blah. Well, a little bit of a different turn on GP Sust. Guys go into a TRT clinic are shooting about 1 to 200 mgs every 10 days, somewhere along those lines. Now, I've heard someone quote the term, which I hadn't used before, sports TRT. And what sports TRT is bringing your testosterone levels, testosterone levels quite higher than a TRT clinic would give you. Now, is that a wise thing? Steve and I have here on this podcast discussed the dangers of just keeping the engine revved up, keeping the androgen levels high, just burn. It's we warned you about it, and you should heed that warning. But there's some suggestions out there that men, the species collectively, our testosterone levels used to be higher decades ago, and it's just now that they're slowest, that what we now consider normal would have been low before. Some have said out there. If you believe that, then you should be able to tolerate a higher amount of testosterone than normal. Not a whole lot, not like 1,000 milligrams a week, but just maybe a little tidbit more than normal TRT would give you. So if you were going to go that route, if that's what you were thinking about, I think GP Sust, 1 cc every 10 days, 1 cc every 2 weeks even. If you're just looking for a little oomph, not to get too crazy, not to add a hormone to your body that is completely synthetic, completely created in a lab, nothing like anything that appears in nature. If you just want good quality, just human testosterone, which is what we make testosterone, humans do, right? Just adding more of it or replacing some of the testosterone you used to have when you were younger, right? And so GP sauce 270. What's good about it is you do get the esters. You get the ester mix in there, and that will help with keeping levels pretty nicely, pretty steady. And what's cool about the GP sauce is this. Now that you're going to go with an ester mix, go all out. It has 5 different ester chains. Testosterone acetate, 20 mg. Testosterone propionate, 30 mg. Testosterone phenylpropionate, 60 mg. Testosterone acylcarpurate, 60 mg. Testosterone decanoate, 100 mg. Per cc, 270 milligrams per cc. You could just do that. Good diet. And always listen, the caloric deficit is what's going to get you ripped. Bottom line. And obviously, lifting weights, training, making more use of the calories coming into your body to build muscle tissue so it doesn't get stored. Your resistance training, lift heavy weights, lift heavy ass weights. Everybody wants big muscles. Nobody wants to lift heavy ass weights. Everybody wants the 6-pack. Nobody wants to starve and be in a little bit of pain and discomfort every day for a few days. Good little bit of Sustanon. Maybe invest into some into an anti-estrogen of your choice. The anti-estrogen, if you're trying to go natty, right? Like kind of natural-ish. I'm natty because I'm only using testosterone. Then don't throw the anti-estrogen on top of that because the anti-estrogen is not natty. You could just do, work it, journal, blood test, and see if maybe you can handle a prick of 270 sus every 10 to 15 days. Brings your test levels way up. If you're not like having estrogen issues, might be all right. You don't need to add anything to your body that doesn't in some regard exist in nature in some way. I'm just saying. So I like that, I like that Sustanon. And again, guys out there, you already know you could pump 1,000 milligrams a week of Sustanon with Aromacin, Arimidex, all that. So you guys already know you can do that. I wasn't going to take the time to go over something like that. Just giving the TRT crowd a little bit of an idea. What else you got, Steve?
So the next one I want to talk about is Andromix. Now, a lot of you guys are hearing that name and you're probably like, what the heck is Steve talking about? Andromix. I've never heard of Andromix. So I'm going to tell you exactly what Andromix is all about. It's going to be a mixture. It's going to be testosterone propionate, 50 milligrams, Trenbolone Acetate, what I was just talking about earlier, 50 milligrams, and then Masteron propionate at 50 milligrams. So it's 150 milligrams total per milliliter, and you're getting, it's in a vial, comes in a 10 milliliter vial. So if you inject 1 cc, you're getting 150 milligrams. So in this kind of scenario, what you could do is inject 1 cc every other day, and that will give you basically 50 milligrams of prop, 50 milligrams of Tren Ace, 50 milligrams of a short ester Masteron, 50 milligrams of each every 2 days, or you could do it every day. So you'd be getting 50 milligrams of each every day. It's really up to you. If you did 50 milligrams each every day times 7 days, that gives you 350 milligrams a week of each. If you were to do it every other day, then you would get half that. You'd get 175 milligrams a week total of each. So it'd be a really, really conservative cycle if you were to do it that way. So a lot of guys choose to just go ahead and do 1 cc every day. Gives you a little bit. It's still, it's a very strong cycle. You're getting 350 milligrams of each of those. So you'll definitely feel it. But this is for those of you, I would say the first cycle was 33% of you. You're going to take Tren Solo, Tren Ace, and rip up and get a 6-pack. The other third of you are going to run this Andromix and get the 6-pack. But you want to get the 6-pack from running just Tren, but you get the 6-pack from running the testosterone probe, the Trenbolone Ace, and the Masterone Probe all together. And that's because of the synergy of using these three, because you got the testosterone, which is kind of like your base. Then you've got the Trenbolone, which is your androgenic, anabolic, extremely androgenic, extremely anabolic set part of it. And then you've got the Masteron, which is a straight DHT derivative, which is the hardener. So when you combine all three together, you get that perfect synergy. So 33% of you would respond well to what I mentioned earlier in the podcast. And then the next 33% of you would respond to this type of cycle and do very well on this type of cycle. So it's definitely one of the most premier stacks out there. In fact, you see a lot of physique competitors, all right, who have used this stack to get to where they're at. Some of them I've actually coached myself. And then we have others that have, talked about this stack being very legendary. And whether this was 30 years ago, 20 years ago, 10 years ago, or present, and maybe probably in the next 10, 20 years, people are still going to be using these three together as compounds to help them achieve six-pack, hard and ripped abs. All right, Rick, what else you got? Or do you want me to do the last one?
Before I'll let you do the last one, Steve, but before that, let's always remember, guys, the juice, the sauce, all it can really do for you is make things happen a little bit faster, multiply your effort, but it's not all. Your diet has to be on point, has to be clean. And sometimes you'll get away with getting tight, getting ripped without a lot of pain and without feeling hungry for too long. But the majority of the times you don't. You're gonna have to suffer a little bit. If you're in the upper teens, low 20s in body fat, then you probably have some core lifestyle habits that kind of fucked you up and got you there. So although dropping those first couple of percentage points, those first few pounds when you're like 25% body fat, 24, 20, 19, those first couple of points are easier to drop. Like just like if you just start drinking water and never drink anything sweet ever again, just water with breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Just that alone, you'll cut it back. But there is some psychological pain to giving up some of those lifestyle habits with the short-term mouth pleasure, mouth feel that made you look like shit in the mirror. There's a little bit of pain there. But once you get down in the middle, teens and body fat, upper single digits, lower teens body fat. Once you get there, once you get to that diddly, then there is more physical pain associated with it now. Now, it's not just this kind of psychological, oh, I want to eat, I feel pain, and I feel lightheaded, I feel pain in my tummy. Because I'm sitting here 20% body fat and I haven't eaten in 5-6 hours. Oh, geez. Right? But then at the end, like once you're down like 12, 11, 10%, 9%, 8%, 7% body fat, once you start tipping it there, that really becomes like literally like, all right, do I have enough energy? Am I getting enough calories and proper calories in me to stay healthy and to get through the workouts without, losing weight, getting ripped, not killing myself? Like it now becomes real, and you really are in a physical the best physical stress, dropping down those levels of body fat. But it definitely doesn't come easy. So I just want to remind you guys, because I think a lot of dudes still, man, to this day, a lot of dudes still attribute way too much of their progress to these drugs. And it's really not that. At the end of the day, when it comes to fat loss, if you eat great, if you're eating really well, man, you throw that GP Prima, that GP Sus 270, GP Mass 100, you throw all that on top, and you're going to look like a sculpture. You're going to look ripped and chiseled the way you should look. But if that baseline of the diet training, willingness to be into some discomfort, to get to look the way you want to look, if that part is not there, then you forget about the rest, because no amount of drugs or anything are really going to get you there. You know what I mean? And that's all. So that was my last part that I'm going to add in for today. What else you got, Steve?
So I just want to do the last one I'm going to talk about. I talked about the first one, which is going to be 33% of you. The second one, which is going to be the next 33%. Now, the final 33%, which are those of you who don't react well to trend. So this cycle doesn't include trend at all, but what it does include is Equipoise. And Equipoise is a very versatile steroid. You can bulk on it. You can cut on it. It's really a special steroid in my mind. It's a fantastic steroid because it can help with your cardio. So Rick went over diet, how important diet is, time restricted eating, and making sure you're putting good quality food in your body. But you also have to do cardio. If you really want six-pack abs, you really need to go hot and heavy on the cardio. And Equipoise is really one of the few steroids where it will actually help with your cardio and not hurt your cardio. So Equipoise, I'd say around 400 milligrams a week, very conservative dose. Some guys go up to 800 milligrams a week. Just depends on how you react to it. And then you're going to be stacking Winstrol with it. And Winstrol can be run anywhere from 25 to 50, and some guys run a much higher dose, especially those at the pro level. But a normal gym rat, 25 to 50 milligrams a day is perfectly fine on Winstrol. So you're going to run the Equipoise and you're going to run the Winstrol together, and they work really well together. Equipoise is very versatile. It's going to, if your diet is on point, you're doing a lot of cardio, you will get results on Equipoise. And you add Winstrol to it, Winstrol will dry you out. So you're going to get chiseled. You're going to be so chiseled, people are going to be going up to you with a pick and a hammer and trying to chisel your muscles, because you're going to be hard as a rock on this cycle. So if you run this cycle correctly, if Trenbolone isn't something you react well to, it gives you side effects, you're not able to get six-pack abs with Trenbolone, like some of you get inflammatory on Trenbolone, maybe you get a little bloated on Trenbolone, this is the stack for you. You're not going to bloat running Equipoise and Winstrol together. So Geneza Pharma, clean gear, high quality, go and get it, guys and gals out there. Listen, at the end of the day, if you're a gal listening to this, you're looking for a cycle for your husband or your boyfriend, Equipoise and Winstrol, that's something to get them for their birthday. They're going to be really happy. If you're a guy listening to this, you want to get a six-pack abs, or you want to get something for your spouse, that's a great stack. If you want six-pack abs for the summer. And like I said, diet, cardio, fasted cardio is so effective for this stack especially. So if you're doing fasted cardio every morning, 35 minutes, 50 minutes, give me 35 to 50 minutes of fasted cardio in the morning with this stack, and give me a good clean diet. And then I can almost assure you that you will get six-pack abs on this stack. This is you're going to be very, very happy with it. All right, Rick, finish out the show with your final thoughts.
So there it is, guys. Good anabolics help you maintain your muscle mass to really get ripped. Cardio, diet. Enjoy eating clean and eating modestly so that your body shapes that way, and enjoy grinding into cardio. If you get bored on the treadmill, get outside or go practice something useful. You know, go to boxing. You don't have to get punched or spar with anyone. You just hit the bag. Do mitt work, pat work. Do that for years. And great cardio workout, get some skills, diet, and obviously the juice. Well, the sauce will definitely help you maintain some muscle mass. We know that already. So, all right, guys, Ricky B. Rock signing out. Hey, Steve, say goodbye to the people, Steve.
Take care, guys and gals out there. We will talk to you guys another time.
Have a good one, Steve. Have a good one, guys.
Guys, this is the required legal disclaimer. We are only sharing our experience from years of steroid use. We are not doctors, and none of what we say should be regarded as medical advice. Always check with your doctor before taking any drugs or starting any training program.